I don't want everybody to like me just because I'm in charge. That's stupid. I just want them to respect and value the product that they're interacting with and know that they have somebody at the top who has their back.
Hi, I'm Nick Warner. As a dad, a lucky husband, and as a business coach, I value people and relationships above all else. But next is winning, sustainability, and healthy culture. I've been a business owner for 25 years and served for decades as a special advisor to business and government leaders at all levels. Let's just say I've seen some stuff. My passion and my expertise are helping motivated professionals and businesses find the highest level confluence of what they want in life and business. This is what it feels like to be together at the top. Thank you to our sponsors, Scholl's Brick & Rogaski, Kathy Olson at Ships and Trips, and Three Bridges Consulting. Torrey Sims is an American entrepreneur and an emerging leader, two of my favorite things. Torrey and I have known each other for about 15 years, and we have a ton of grit and grind to our relationship. Torrey's 20 years younger than me, but I absolutely consider her a colleague and a contemporary. Torrey has a big brain, charisma to burn, and she's next level competitor. You know I love that. We interviewed Torrey exactly a year ago, 7 months after she purchased WMH Media and turned it into WMH Media. When we interviewed her as a baby entrepreneur in 2024, Torrey said she'd come back on and share what she's learned in almost 2 years as a business owner and CEO. In true Torrey style, she followed up, she drove the timelines for the interview, and she even wrote me notes on what she'd like to share. Torrey, thank you so much for coming back on. And by the way, we're working on your two-timer robe along with Matt Kate and Troy Parishes. Where are you today? And say hello to the people of Together at the Top.
Hello, Nick. Thank you for having me back. I am in Carlsbad still, but different space than I was a year ago. So I am excited to be here and talk about what is the same from the last time we spoke and what is vastly different.
Yeah, awesome. Really fun to catch up with you. Let's dig into this using your Torrey notes. Let's start with your notes at the top. Not everyone does the right thing, but don't let that reality change you.
Yeah. Wow, we're just starting deep here. Okay.
Let's go. I mean, you brought it to me, so we want to dig into it.
No, I think that throughout this journey and just life in general, right? Not everybody is going to do what you would do or what you want them to do. And I think navigating that has been one of the most frustrating things about just life in general, but also entrepreneurship as well. But it's also been an area that I have learned the most about myself and where I need to make adjustments and also where I need to pivot on certain things too. I think in the past, I gave a lot of leeway to people. I would always meet people with an inherent amount of trust already established, whether I met that person from somebody else, whether I have known them for a long time and our relationship developed naturally that way. I always come in with trusting first. And I think what this journey in the first, 2 years, we're almost at the 2-year mark here.
19 months.
19 months.
I did the math. It took me two hands and like part of another hand, but 19 months.
You got the name right, at least, of the company.
Thank you. I was not going to screw that up twice.
No.
I was not going to screw that up twice.
But no, I think that it definitely has taught me when to be patient, slow down, and take people and things for what they are. I think I talked about it last time we connected, of meeting people where they're at. And I think that note I gave you is just kind of more evolution of what I told you previously. And I think it continues to be true. I have a lot of great people who I surround myself with, and personally and professionally. And I think that at the time of taking over this business and having a new role and just a new life, honestly, I, again, just kind of went out there leading with trust. And I think it's been rewarding for sure to be able to go into rooms and talk with people. And understand who they are and where they've developed and evolved as well, but also taking those lessons and not taking things so personally and just learning and growing and shaking things off a lot faster than I used to, being even more resilient. I didn't think that I would continue to have these resiliency tests every single day of my life, but here we are. But I told you before this started, we're also on a tsunami watch right now in Carlsbad, California. So hopefully I don't blow away. But all things, you never know what you're going to get for the day, right? And so that is obviously in a small business, but an extremely healthy and growing business. Those are things that I look at every day of what's different, what's changing, what's, where do we have to stay the same and where do we need to carve out different areas to grow and mature.
Yeah, the bullet you gave me, not everyone does the right thing, but don't let the reality change you. I don't know, it has tinges of like jading, of being jaded to it, but I'm not getting that from you. When you say don't let the reality change you. I give trust, I assume trust, but I've just learned that I got to be careful. Say a little more about don't let the reality change you.
Yeah, I think it, again, kind of goes to that point, what I said before, of meeting people where they're at. Not everybody is always in a position to have the kind of conversation that you want to have the kind of outcome that you want, to put the right things in motion or what you think is the right thing in motion. And that's okay. That doesn't have to be a reflection of, oh, this wasn't the right time for that. That wasn't the right move here. It could simply just be, let's put it on pause and come back to this. And I think in the past, because I am such a go, 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 do all the time. Did I just say do?
I think you did. I'd say we'll take it out and edit, but we're not going to take that out. That's staying in.
No, keep it in the do podcast. No, I think that because I am just moving fast all the time. And when things don't go my way, that doesn't mean that I can't revisit that another time. And I have to be patient with myself. I can be my own worst enemy sometimes in that category. And so what I mean by don't let the reality affect you, it's just as simple as that. It can be that simple. Talking to people in different areas and where they're at and what they're going through, you don't know. And because I come to conversations typically with that trust that I told you about, I sometimes expect that I get that on the other side. And that's maybe not the reality of the person that I'm speaking with. And that's what I mean. I don't know what they've gone through. I don't know what they're going through personally. I don't know if they have a sick kid in the hospital and I'm just picking up the phone, having a happy old day and saying, oh, let's go and hit around, and not loving what their response is. Because again, I don't know where they're at. And so being okay with that reality, I think, has been just a maturity factor and just a constantly evolving thing of being a human.
Yeah, I think that's great. I mean, you're the coach right now. I mean, I'm just sitting here reflecting on, man, I wonder how many times I've done that, where I come to a call, a conversation. I need something solved. I'm fully transparent. I knew it was coming. I mean, down the line, and you don't get the response you're looking for, and it feels like an L, or they're a this or a that. Shake it off, take a deep breath, and realize they might not have been where you were. You might have fouled that pitch off on your own volition. I think it's great. I'm not going to forget that. I'm not going to forget that at all. Where meet people where they're at. I mean, you hear it different ways, but you're putting it in such practical terms that it makes me go back and both revisit and think about going forward, doing better in that space.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, you're not always going to get the version of the person or the response that you want. And it's how you adjust within that. That's been a really big thing for me, just personally and professionally, of course.
Yeah. One of the things I'm working on came from my dad is learn to not get your way, get better at losing. It doesn't necessarily go with that, but it's adjacent to that.
Yeah.
You said one of the things you've learned is to lead with purpose in class, no matter what is thrown your way.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't know there was a yes or no question. Please expand. Please expand. This is not a Scantron.
Yeah. I mean, you are your brand when you're an entrepreneur as well, and how you carry yourself and the circles that you're in and just the output that you produce, it all comes together. And how I carry myself and the people that I choose to align with and work with, I think is important. It's important starting out in your career, but also, as you mentioned in the beginning of this show, like I've known you for 15 years and our relationship has evolved over the years as well. And I feel like that's important to recognize the people that who have always been there for you in different ways, but also just under like being confident in yourself and your decisions, I would say, of who you choose to spend time with and kind of let down that veil with as well. I think a lot of entrepreneurs can feel a little bit lonely at times, like, oh, nobody really understands what I'm doing, or like, no one would ever know that this is, on my resume of doing X, Y, and Z. And I would say I have felt that before for sure. And you also have to be your own biggest cheerleader in those moments, and be supportive of yourself and just understand that, yeah, it is hard, but that's why not everybody does it. And I think that that was a really big reminder that I've had over the last 2 years is if it was easy, everybody would do it.
Totally.
And it's not easy. And there are days that I would sell this company for 45 cents. And then there's other days where I'm like I would never ever let this go. But I think that was more so like in the first few months of everything coming together with this business and all of the changes. It was just like, oh, did I make the right decision? And I can confidently say that I am so happy to be where I am. I am so proud of my team that I have around me, and honestly myself, of those exact things that I said, of like digging myself out of times where I was being down on myself or having an expectation for myself that maybe wasn't realistic, and being real with myself every single day. I have never trusted myself more than I do today.
Wow, that's really interesting. You said what is wrong will eventually expose itself with or without your energy.
Yeah.
Of all the things you wrote to me, that's the one that really caught my attention.
Very well. I mean, a tiger doesn't change its stripes. And what I think for people, for concepts, for philosophies, a lot of things will continue to stay the same, and you will be able to see that. And when it comes to light, and for me, I put my head down, I get my work done. And I also, again, have to be that cheerleader that I mentioned to myself sometimes, but also to the team around me, and let them know what the vision is if they forget, what the course is for what we're doing and why we're doing it. I think that when I said that about what did I say? It sounded really smart.
What is wrong will eventually expose itself with or without your energy. I listened to you.
Yeah. No, it really will, because it's like, I mean, we can see it. We can see it happening in the world today, but not to go down that route, but exactly what it is. If you continue to put your head down, work hard, lead with class, and understand yourself, be confident in yourself, surround yourself with great people, and support your mission always, then you're never going to fail. Like, yes, you are going to have times where you're disappointed in yourself, times where you're, could have made a different decision, but those are all growth moments. Those are all opportunities to be better and level up. And those people who don't do that, or companies who don't do that, or if you have a mindset that doesn't align to that, then again, eventually that will come to light. That will come to light with or without my energy. I give enough to my clients, my business, my personal growth, my professional growth, I don't have time at the end of the day to be the justice police either for others out there. And so I think just letting go as well to that control that sometimes I say, like, I'm not an absolute control freak. Letting go of that control is very important to do, to just really the ultimate test of trusting yourself, I would say, is being comfortable with letting go of some of the things that used to rattle you or bother you.
Yeah, I really like this phrase. I don't need to be the justice police. Like, it's not for me to weigh in on every single thing. And one of the things I learned from mentors of mine is you're not the only one noticing this. It may not be in your timeline, but it will work itself out. You're not the only one seeing this.
Yeah.
But what about this?
Yeah.
What about that? We got to like, just, it'll show itself. It'll show itself over time. I've had to like pry my hands off things and not be the justice police. And that's a really good phrase. I love that phrase. Yeah, you can't control all things. I think it's probably also about picking the right fights, the right ways, letting some things go. And lest the listeners forget, you're not 19 months into this life, but you're 19 months into being a CEO and a business owner with a national profile. So these are really interesting observations at this stage of your growth, to me anyways.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would say that in general, I am a pretty self-aware person, and I would say that it's a strength and a weakness, because sometimes I could be so self-aware that I'm like, oh my God, why did I do that? Because I can be my toughest critic. But also just, yeah, having that self-awareness again of just, people are people. I think we talked about in the first episode that I was on, that people are people at the end of the day. Like, yeah, I have a new role, I have new responsibilities, but I'm also still a person at the end of the day, and things are hard for me just the same way that they are hard for other people. I think the difference is that I just keep going. And one reminder that a friend gave me not too long ago was I was just going through like having to make a hard decision. And she said to me, she was like, when have you ever made a hard decision and been not satisfied with the result at the end of the day? And I sat back and I thought about it for a minute, and I said, you know what? Never. Like, I've made a decision one way or the other, and I've stuck with it. Like, was it always the best decision? Like, I don't know, maybe there were 10 others that I could have explored in that moment, but I always make things work. And I say that to some younger people that I work with these days as well, of just, I mean, little things. Like, I had someone talk to me about just finances again in the last few months. And they're like, oh, I'm never going to be able to own a home, and I'm never going to be able to do this. I'm never going to be able to do that. And I'm like, yes, you are. Everything always works out for people like you who keep going. And it's true about my journey too. Like, I started out, I think I told you, I don't think this is, private information, but when I started out working in the real world, I was making $35,000 a year. I am not one to have I would say, soft lifestyle by any means as well. Like, I like to do things. I have a big life. I've never adjusted my life, regardless of what my pay has been. And I think that a lot of people are just afraid to take that step, or to, again, just believe in themselves that it's gonna be okay. Yeah, there's a little more, you got to crawl your way up a little bit more. It's going to be a little messier maybe, but you'll always find your way if you're always working hard and putting your head down and knowing yourself. And I really believe that.
You told me just after year one, hard work is hard, but it's also the most rewarding.
Yes. Yes or no questions. Thanks, Nick. Yes, again. It is. I honestly, I had someone come up to me and they asked me why I do what I do, like what my legacy is. And in this example, this person had mentioned their kids. They're like, oh, are your kids just so proud of you? I'm like, I don't have kids. And so they're like, well, why do you do this then? And honestly, I sat there for a minute and I was like, that's a really interesting question. Why do I do this? Like, great question. I've always worked hard. I've always had a very strong work ethic. Again, I think going back to the good and the bad of being very self aware and also very competitive. I've always had a work ethic of, waking up early, being the first person at a practice, whether it was a sporting event or being the first person in the classroom, whatever it was, I was always giving 100%. And I love the industries that I represent so much. I was going to say more than anything, but that's not really true. I love the industries that I represent very, very much. And if somebody is going to be responsible for representing those industries, it should be me. It should be somebody who cares deeply about it and who works hard and wants their clients to be successful, wants the market to be successful. I care so much that, again, I think it's a big strength and can sometimes be a weakness because I make every mission that I go after my personal mission, which is great for my clients, great for my customers. When you work with me, you have me on your side, and I am a bulldog in a lot of different areas of my life. And so I will definitely, no matter what it is, I will get it done at the end of the day. We had this big annual event that we do every year, and you know it well, Nick. You used to speak at it. And last year, I did this big art project, and I had my board members and my industry knowledge council, so my thought leaders in the market for my correctional magazine. I had them all do this art project where we were donating a piece to New York City for the big borough-based jails program. And this has been a program that's been going on for decades, of just from inception to actually now putting something out there for the world to see. And so many different people have been a part of it. So I had this idea of everybody getting together, and we had this art piece commissioned, and everyone there was going to dip their hands in paint and then make this border. And it turned out really great. So everyone, had a hand, if you will, the symbolism. And the journey from getting this painting from the event to where it is going in New York City has been the just most underrated. I haven't talked about this journey yet of this painting, and it'll all come together of this point that I'm making. But I had this painting framed when we got back here because it was being gifted to the city of New York. And so I'm waiting for the painting, and finally it gets ready. I go to pick it up. It's huge. It's gigantic. I go to put it in the car. It doesn't fit in my car. And so I'm like, oh, great. How am I going to get it there? It doesn't fit my car. Had to go rent a Home Depot truck, go to all these different FedEx locations that say that they ship artwork. None of them did. Anyways, go back the next day, have to get a different Home Depot truck, go to a different FedEx, get it shipped out. The painting gets lost in the building in New York City. I have everybody, property management, every single floor you can think of. I'm calling in like everyone. And I told this man on the phone, and this was, again, a moment where I was like, this man has no idea, right, that what I have gone through to get this painting to the location that it's at. And I am looking at the tracking number, and I'm like, it is there. It was signed by this person on this date at this time. Like, it is there. Please find it. Instead of jumping down this man's throat, because again, he has no idea the situation that I was in of getting this painting there. And he's just walking in, starting his day. And he's like, ma'am, I can't find your delivery. I have no idea how to help you. And so I told him, I said, Fred, his name was Fred. I said, Fred, I am sorry that you had to be the one to answer the phone today to speak with me, but I need to let you know what's going on. So I tell him the story, and I tell him, I am not going to stop until I find this painting and it goes to the correct recipient. And I need you to know that. And either I need you to work with me or I need you to put me in touch with somebody who can work with me because I am not going anywhere. And he laughed and he said, you know what? I'm going to help you. I like you. But I think it was just a funny realization. And again, all those moments before in person that maybe I was in previous roles where, yeah, I was pissed and I could have picked up the phone and screamed at this man and made it his problem. But instead, I came to the table in a different way and just very much transparent of this is where I'm at. But also you need to know that I am not going to rest until it is correct. And that's kind of the way I am in a lot of different areas. So people can say that like maybe I have too high of standards. I would never say that about myself. I would say my standards are just about right. But I would say that that is something that has made our business successful. It is something that I think has made me and my life just happier and more fulfilled, is being able to have those standards, but also articulate them in a way where I'm not asking you to bend over backwards to meet my standards. I'm just letting you know I'm not going to stop until they're met.
I think you helped him meet you where you were too. I mean, you helped him. You told him where you were for the purpose of meeting where you are, or him saying, I'm out. You're crazy. This isn't going to work.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, you also talk about evolution too.
I'm really going to.
I mean, you have known me 15 years or maybe even a little more, and we've known each other. Like you're catching things to say, this is how I was born. I'm a go-getter. But then you add in titular power, like actual power, your go-get 'em ways, and you can lose people there just like I have. And so you're an evolving soul. You're backing up and you're saying that might have worked for some previous version of me, or probably it didn't work that well. I'm going to see if I can do this different. Your leadership and your humanity are attached together. That's good evolution. You talked also about, this is me being vulnerable. You talked about surrounding yourself with people who, support you and bring you the right energy. And I got crosswise you. I earned the good old fashioned way. I earned out of your life. And you showed me if you're not supportive, and that it's supportive with you is not do what I say. It's not sycophant. You're up for all kinds of hard discussions. I have a ton of responsibility, but I'm on a lifelong journey to earn back in with you, which I think I have. But you're evolving too. You said to me recently, like I don't remember what you said, but it felt good. Something about evolution or changes you've seen in me. And then you're explaining one right there. I mean, you're a load. You're a big personality, diminutive in stature, but like no joke in what you bring to the table. And you're realizing I'm sitting on a mistake and I'm sitting on being ineffective. Let me use my evolution here. And it's just one discrete example, but I bet it translates all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it definitely does. And yeah, I did pay you a compliment, Nick. I can't believe you didn't remember it verbatim and write it down.
I haven't got too many of those over the years, so yeah.
Over and over every single morning. But no, I think that we've obviously grown as friends over the years, and you have a new career now, and where we had met previously, we were in different places, and to be able to kind of grow together, but apart at the same time and come together when it matters, and understanding that, yeah, that support, it doesn't, you kind of nailed it when you said that about me. Like what I look for in support isn't somebody who's just doing things that I tell them to do. Like, oh, show up at this time, or, text me to see how I'm doing. Like that's not the support. It's just knowing that you have somebody in a room that wants your best interests, like wants you to be well, whether that's, your business or you as a person. Like what you said before is when you are an entrepreneur and a small business owner, like it's the same, it's one and the same. And so somebody who, you can trust in rooms where if your name is said, nothing is negative about that. And they only want the best for you. Like that to me is support. And that's how I show support to people, any way that I can help my friends and clients, of like making introductions or just kind of going above and beyond of what I would do. I kind of do that just naturally. But if you're with me, you're with me. Like I don't make any secrets about the people that I love. And so I think that yeah, it might make me a little foo-foo to some people, but I don't really care.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll say to 10,000 people or more. I mean, I'm 20 years or so your senior, and I met you right out of grad school and I was already top of my career, but I look up to you in so many ways. I seek your approval. I want your respect. I've seen you evolve. It's really important to me. You see me evolve. And it's like just been a really cool journey to meet the times we met. But I look up to you. It's age doesn't matter. Stage of career doesn't matter. You have a way about you of paying attention, and also a power about you, and backbone's the wrong word, like an ethics about you, but that's not the right word either. Like you know who you are at your core, and it's not up for discussion. And I really respect that. I've also seen you outwork everybody around you. Well, I mean, what you mean to say in some of these things is early bird gets the worm. I've been in a lot of meetings in a lot of places in the country with you, and a lot of them have been in the dark, and I'm like, holy crap, Torrey's already here. Like early bird getting the worm is a thing. Outworking people around you is a real thing. I've seen it.
Yeah.
Can I go from, this has been like an awesome journey, the first 30 minutes or so of this podcast. And you know why I jumped right in and I'm kicking myself? Because we have so much good humor. Is I want to cover so much stuff with you. I just geeked out and went like right to the meat. And you're like, dude, you forgot to say hello. Oh, sorry, Torrey. Hi. I want to get to the meat of it. But can I go past 15,000 feet and like start to bounce off the ground level here and like really get granular with you? Why did you buy? Did you say yes? It's a yes or no question.
Yeah, I think we're continuing the yes or no trend.
Okay.
And I just keep saying yes. So you don't even have to ask anymore.
Why did you buy an existing company rather than start your own from scratch and without debt or other people's baggage?
Yes or no question again. Yeah, Nick. Yeah, I did that. I did it because I worked at the company previously, and I loved what it stood for. I loved what it did. I also knew that was the right way to go about it as well. Having a small industry like the industries that we represent kind of are, I could have gone and done my own thing. And I do have people out there who would have supported me. I wouldn't have felt right about that because that wasn't the right way to do it. Somebody who, started this company 30 years ago, they did a lot of that groundwork that I was able to walk in and have a brand and have a company that I can be proud of, a company that I loved when I worked there, and to kind of go around and do it in a sneaky way and start something on my own. Well, yes, I could have done it. I would have never felt right about something like that. I definitely give respect where respect is due. And I do know I am younger. I'm still in my 30s, despite some people who, think that I'm a little bit older than that. I still have a few more years. Not that there's anything wrong with being older. I actually feel better now than I did in my 20s, but I am young, and I recognize that. Like, I don't want to be this young little entitled girl who walks in and is like, I'm going to do it all my way. No, I observe, I learn, I evaluate. I really, really do try to come in and, like I said, do the right thing. And what the right thing was in that moment was to purchase the existing company and balance that history of the company and the hard work that it took to build the company to where it was. And were there things that when I walked in that I wouldn't have done that way? No, but I still respect the fact that that is the way that it was built, and I wouldn't be where I was without even having that opportunity in the first place. So I am extremely grateful for everything that I've learned, but I also am, again, extremely confident in what I have learned and in myself, and being able to come into a company that has a 30-year-old history and not be afraid to make a change. I think that is who I am. And that, I hope, is also the respect that people who have been around with this company and this brand for 30 plus years hopefully see that as well, of my respect and honor of the company and the legacy that it was.
It's really cool. Have you won everybody over?
No. I don't think I'm ever going to win.
I mean, the way I think
over.
of it is like people going, people go from admin to professional and people have a hard time not asking him or her to set the Zoom up. It's like, I can do that, but I'm not.
Yeah.
Or they go from general counsel to a C-suite, and it's like they really have a tough time not just doing lawyering. I envision at times, the reason I asked that question is you popped up young at a pretty high level, but still like in an admin-ish role, even though you had a journalism degree and like didn't stay there long. But they're looking at you like, Torrey Sims, like, she's awesome, but she's the CEO or the head of the company. Can you win some of those people over? Have you? Do you want to? I might even add.
Yeah. I want to continue to create a business and a brand that brings value to people. And within that is me as well. I really want to help those people, like, with, if I can do something myself as me, Torrey, a person, to help somebody succeed. Kind of going back to that conversation I told you about that woman who asked me why I do what I do and the legacy and all of that. It really is like, I want people to succeed. I want the people around me to succeed as much as I want to succeed. Yeah, I think that, is everybody going to like me and agree with me? No. And that's not what I want. I don't want everybody to like me just because I'm in charge. That's stupid. I just want them to respect and value the product that they're interacting with and know that they have somebody at the top who has their back. And if that grows into them liking me, respecting me, giving me a seat at the table that I didn't have before, of course I'm going to embrace that. Do I seek that validation from people when I go out and do my business? No, I don't. I lead with, hey, this is where I can come in and help, knowing what your challenges are and how do we come together and work together. And through that relationship, I hope that all of those things are, that they grow and that they become my friend, or that they become, a trusted colleague, somebody that, again, I can have their back, they can have mine. And this industry is small. And I think that there are definitely really, really fun relationships that I have developed since I've been in this role that I wouldn't if I didn't have this position. So, like, again, to answer your question, no, I do not seek that validation, but I think that with understanding people and working with them, I think that it's just grown mutually. And if it's not, that's fine too. If you still find value in my product, but you don't want to sit in a room with me, that's okay. That's fine. Maybe not today, maybe tomorrow, maybe next year, maybe 10 years, maybe never. And that's still okay. And so again, I have to be okay with people liking me, not liking me, wanting me up there with them, wanting me in the background, wherever you want me.
Yeah.
Just be honest with me.
I struggled with that last part, that not everybody liking you. I was a golden boy coming up. Like, everything I touched, I don't know what turned to gold, but I was really successful and went really well. And then you get to a certain level and you cannot please everybody. You just cannot. For those who don't believe, no proof it's possible. That was one of the Roosevelts, I think. But I was really taken aback by that and probably blown away too, but like back on my heels. And it took maturity and mentors and others to get me to understand this got bigger than just you in this room and everybody thinking you're amazing. There's complicated factors here, and not everybody in this room is rooting for you. I had to really wrap my mind around that. Probably later in my career, I find your maturity in seeing things like that. You're a journalism major, but you are really good on sociology and psychology. I happen to think it's a really sober adult view you just shared. But I struggle with, when you get to certain levels of leadership, you cannot make decisions by democracy, and you can't always make them by popularity contest either. And then it comes with stuff I haven't seen before. They're pissed.
Yeah.
It's something you really got to learn how to catalog and get comfortable with.
Yeah. And you sometimes make people upset who are those same people who have your back and you have theirs. And it's how you grow through those moments as well. And I've had to have really difficult conversations in the last 2 years, I would say, of just growing the team, growing the business, the different channels that we're operating in. I have had to have difficult conversations, but I lead those conversations with a genuine curiosity and wanting to understand. I do genuinely want to understand. And I've also had a lot of things in my life that just, I mean, we talked about last time, me having type 1 diabetes and how that kind of, that helps me to just navigate my life and some of those silly things that might not seem like a big deal at the time that I used to get really worked up about. And now I'm like, it's not that deep.
Yeah.
It's not that deep, keep moving forward.
You mentioned type 1 diabetes. And I'm going to get back to curiosity because I think you really excel. You mentioned competitiveness. I mentioned it too, competitive drive and curiosity. I'm going to set that aside for a minute. You mentioned health. How does your national profile and your self-described go ways fit with the smile on your face and being happy and healthy? Health, sleep, fitness. I mean, you're 19 months in and it's a grind, man. And I see where you are on social media. When I text you, you're in New York, you're in California, you're in Philadelphia, you're all over the place. How is it 19 months in? What have you learned and how are you handling that?
Yeah. Yes, Nick.
Yes to all. It hurts.
Yes, I am everywhere. Yeah, I had, so when was this? Before I purchased the company, I actually I was very stressed out and I wasn't sleeping. I am a very routine person. And again, I think a lot of that comes from my health, but also being just type A and who I am. And I'm always up at the gym early in the morning. I eat healthy. I have my regular doctor's appointments. I do all the things. I was not sleeping. And it was a personal failure of mine. I just could not sleep. And then I was talking to myself, basically telling myself, like, you have to sleep, Torrey. Like, what are you doing? You need to go to sleep. And then it was, midnight. And then I'd look at the clock and then it was 1:30 and then it'd be 2:30 and then 3:30, 4:30. And then my alarm was going to go off at 5:30 anyways for me to get up and go do all of the things that I filled in my calendar. And I just wasn't sleeping. And so I went and I saw a sleep psychologist and they were like, what is going on with your life? Like, why can you not sleep? And when I started breaking it down, I was like, it's what I just said. It's not that deep. It's not that serious. I just was making it bigger than it was. And anyways, through all these different kinds of exercises and journaling and some drugs as well in there to help me go to sleep and reset, I was able to do it and then kind of get back into a place of rhythm and routine again. But I will say that health is so important. And a lot of people talk about this like work-life balance. And I don't think that they talk about a work-life balance in the way that I see a work-life balance. I think a lot of people talk about work-life balance in terms of like, oh, I'm going to work really hard this day. So then I have, this balance on this side of like spending time with my family and spending time with my kids and being able to go on vacation. I see it more so as what you can do for yourself in that balance, a personal balance, and extending yourself to everybody all the time. So within that example of like, oh, and then I can be more for this person and be more for that person and do more here and go over here. Like, oh, just talking about that, I'm like tired, like thinking about all the planning that has to go into that. And so what I really started to do on this journey is look at myself more and this journey and how things were affecting me. So like the sleep. And then like I went and got help. I went and saw somebody and was like, this is a problem and I need to fix it. And yes, that was before my journey, which surprisingly enough, I've slept so much better since all of this. But I will say that the work-life balance to me is more so how I manage things within myself personally. So I'm able to show up better. And when I'm doing things that aren't at work, which is probably a very rare occurrence, but when I am not doing things at work, I really am just in the moment a lot more. And kind of going back to the health thing I mentioned before when we talked, I always try to talk about the people that I love when I can. And I told you a quote from one of my very best friends who said, you can do hard things. And I think about that a lot. And in the last 19 months of owning this business, just kind of navigating all of those things of like the hard things, the real things, the things that you have to do, even though you're exhausted. It doesn't stop. But I think about that friend in particular, and she has since passed away. And so you don't think about, again, all of those things that happen in someone's personal life that can affect all of these different things. And so I try to make sure that if I were to die tomorrow, that I leave behind something that people can be proud of, saying that they worked with me, that they knew me, that they were a part of this. And so I think about time and health and people and connection and understanding a lot different because of that friend and the experiences that I went through. And so while we talk and you're talking about how I have this, ability to see things like a little bit differently, it's because of all those experiences. Like last time we talked about different kinds of books that I was reading to understand entrepreneurship and building a team and running a business and growing and selling and this and that. And while all those things are great, and I've done all of those things, I would say the biggest takeaway has been behind the scenes and the life lessons that I've learned of just having to live a life while running a business. And I think about my friend every single day. I have a picture of her here to remind me that life is short and leave it all on the table. And that's what I try to do day in and day out for the people that I support in this business, and also my customers, my clients, all the people that are involved with me. So I want them to feel good at the end of the day. And life's too short to feel like shit every day. So why not work with someone who makes you feel good?
Yeah, well said. Really well said. Sorry for the loss of your friend. I know that rocked you. You shared that with me. And probably also you have her picture on your desk because you want her to be proud of you, and you know she'll be proud of you. You look in her eyes. Sorry for your loss. Really sorry
Thank
for your
you.
loss. I know that's a really hard one for you. I love your curiosity. I find curiosity a symptom of humility. I'm convinced humility is a dividing line between success and mediocrity. And as the book says, good to great. You are so curious. Why are you so curious? And how do you use your natural curiosity to your advantage in business?
I am very curious. You are right. So yes, Nick, another yes. And I use it in ways, honestly, just to get to know people. I genuinely am curious about people. I was talking to one of my friends a few weeks ago. We were out to dinner and I was just looking at him, and he's bald. And I was just looking at him and he's like, what? I was like, how many times do you shave your head? Like a week? And he's like, what? It's nothing to do with anything, right? But I'm genuinely curious. Like, how many times do you shave your head in a week? And he shaves his head every other day. So I'm like, so it's not really easier being bald then, is it? And he's like, no, it's actually not. And we talked about him being bald for, I don't even know how long, but I genuinely do want to understand people and what their life is and what they do outside of their work and their title. And yeah, like we're at this big dinner and we're chatting about, I don't even know what is the work chatter. And I'm just staring at his bald head being like, how many times do you shave that head? It was looking good and bald, you know? But genuinely, I do want to know. And I think that in business, it does help me too, to understand my customers. I'm in the business of sharing information. And well, sorry that I shared the information about how many times he shaves his bald head. I don't think that was off the record conversation. But what I'm saying is it really does help to understand where I need to go in my business too when I ask these questions, what people are looking for, what they're experiencing, but also just on a human to human level, again, of like, I'm Torrey always at the end of the day. And yeah, I might ask weird questions that might not seem that they're related to anything, but I feel like I know that man more now than I ever knew him before, just understanding his hygiene schedule. But I'm just saying, like, breaking those walls down. And he has a a very high position and he has, I think, thousands of employees that are under him. And I'm sure nobody has ever asked him a question like that and treated him like a person. And so I like to do that as well. Of again, just like my background in journalism, I like to understand where people are at, who they are, and what we're working with, but also treat them like humans. Like, this is just a guy eating dinner.
I think you're the best I've ever seen. You were young 20-something when I met you, and you were working with, I wasn't 50, but everybody you were working with was twice your age, and you were like one of the guys, one of the girls. Like, your pickaxe was curiosity, smart questions, learning a little bit more. I've been observing it for all the years I've known you, and it stands out. It really stands out. That's why I wanted to ask you about it.
I think people too, like, they want to work with people that they know. They want to work with people that they're comfortable with in a way. And if I can be that for them, if I can be something that they look forward to in the day, that it's not so like, oh, drag, I have a call with Torrey today.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want somebody to think that. I know that's what you probably thought today.
It's all right. You're all right. You're all right. It's going okay.
But seriously, I really do think that, like, that's how I like when I get recommendations from people of even like employees that I would hire. Like, if I know somebody before, I know their work ethic, I know who they are, like, of course I want to work with them more. Like, you naturally just are drawn to people who you're more comfortable around. And so again, if I can be that comfort for some folks, then of course I'll do it. I'll be there. Yes.
When I interviewed our mutual friend, Matt Kate, this time last year, he said, quote, "You don't gain confidence from experience. You gain confidence from winning." What are your thoughts on what Matt says? Are you winning, and are you gaining confidence from winning?
Well, it's interesting that it was Matt Kate, because we just came off of an epic win. Speaking of winning, yeah, I'm going to put it out there for the masses. We just won the CSAC golf tournament at Torrey Pines. We were in the most epic scramble group. I kid you not. We shot a 58. Okay. Put that on the record.
Let's go. Let's go. You must be carrying Matt, because I know he didn't win that golf tournament on his own.
No, Matt was doing great. He actually, I think he chipped it in for an eagle on 9. Yeah, it was crazy.
Where'd you go, Matt?
But so what did Matt say? He said that you only learn when you're winning.
No, he said, basically people would say that my version is people say you learn from experience. I say, no, you don't. You learn from reflecting on your experience. And Matt said it, I think, even better. And it stuck with me, for the year. He said, you don't gain confidence from experience. You gain confidence from winning.
Yeah. Yeah. Because then you're like, you're capable.
Hey, that worked.
You're capable of that.
Yeah, that worked. Yeah, that
exactly.
feels good. I'm getting confident that worked. I don't think experience makes you confident. Winning makes you confident.
Experience, you could fail at something every day and be like, oh yeah, that made me really confident. Why would that make you confident? You just like lost everything.
Or you stay mediocre. You stay flat like that. Tons of experience.
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of older stage career people that you and I are running circles around. They got way more experience. Like, that's not where the confidence comes from or the anything. It's just experience, just days on the planet. That doesn't get it for you. I want to reflect on it, but I'm getting my confidence and up on my elbows from winning, from seeing that it works.
I think winning for sure obviously gives you confidence, but I also think that it's that give a shit factor as well. And you're not always going to win at everything that you give a shit about, but you get up there and you do it. And I think that too create that confidence of like, man, I really didn't want to do that, but I still got up at 5:30 in the morning. I washed my hair. I curled my hair. I put on a full face of makeup, and I got up there in my cute little outfit, did what nobody else wanted to do. And that gives you confidence. So like, yeah, while the outcome might not be this like huge win that you're going to get a trophy or some accolade for, it still is a win for you to be like, I know that I can work through really hard things to show up and prove to myself that I can do that. And I would say in this last 19 months of being in this role, I've said yes. Surprisingly, I mean, I know that you've never heard me say yes before, but I have said yes to so many things that I normally wouldn't be saying yes to. And to me, that is, again, that confidence booster too. Like I've said yes to speaking engagements and like, would I call them successful? Like, yeah, sure. I would call them successful. Is everybody there being like banging on my door, wanting me to come back? Like, no, probably not. But it gave me the confidence to say yes to more things. And then those yeses evolve into bigger things and more opportunities. And so, yes, while I agree with Matt that winning creates confidence, I also think that it's stepping outside of your comfort zone as well and being able to do things that you didn't normally think that you could be capable of.
Yeah, really good. We've got 3 minutes left. Can I have 5 extra minutes?
Yeah.
All right. And yes. I accept your apology for giving me a hard time for starting right away because I knew this was going to happen. I don't want to let you go. It was hard to get you on this podcast as it was, and I don't want to let you go. But so just give me a few more minutes. You talked in our last interview about your focus and excitement to network outside of your core competence story. Core competence being corrections and public safety. Your media company also works in education, green energy, construction, and healthcare. You're one of the smartest networkers I know. Like, I'm not just saying that. You are one of the best networkers I've ever met. You mentioned Matt Cade. He's pretty damn good too. You're one of the best networkers I know. So talk to us about how it's going and what you've done to enhance your relationships in these other key areas outside of what you came in being your core competence. How have you done it? Have you done it?
Yeah. Yes. God, I need to stop doing that. Our education market in particular, that was a market that was huge for us when I worked at the company previously. When I stepped in, it kind of fell by the wayside. And I understand that. It's like, go where your biggest ROI is. And I get that. I have taken a lot of lessons learned from what we were able to build in the correction space over to the education market. And this year I am so excited because we are doing our first ever in-person event for the school market. And it is the Design and Construction Symposium in Denver, and it's in August. And it brings together K through 12 and higher ed folks for a one-day session. We do tours of different construction projects that are happening that they can ask questions for the project team. And just putting that together as well, of knowing that the success that I had from other markets of putting the right people in the room together to talk about the issues that they need to talk about, that is where change happens in their industry. And eventually, yeah, that's going to trickle down to us being those facilitators. So for School Construction News is the brand that I'm talking about specifically in the education market. We've always had a great following in School Construction News, but there was never really that like marketing on the other end. And so I want to also give those customers what they deserve. And it's, the corrections folks, we let them experience all of those positives all the time of bringing people together, having fun and letting them network and talk to one another and bring solutions to the table. And these education folks have the same just drive and thirst for that knowledge as well. And so I'm starting to kind of pick up in different areas that have been successful in the business as a whole and put them in place in areas that I think are needed. And so this idea of having this in-person event is really just helpful for, brand awareness of like, hey, this is who we are. This is what we do. This is how you can get involved. And I've already just met so many new people, talked to so many different folks that from the correction space that have introduced me to someone who's actually going to be our keynote at the Denver event, and someone who's very high up ranking and kind of a score for that event. And it all came from networking outside of my typical network in education, but just, again, being curious, asking, oh, hey, you know that person? Like, can you get me in touch? I'd love to have a conversation. And that's where it starts. It starts at a conversation and then a mutual understanding of like, hey, yeah, I can do this for you. I'm interested. I'm curious. And so are you. Let's come together and make some shit happen. Yeah. So that's what I love to do. And that is, I would say, my perfect day at work would be to bring people together outside of normal channels, of normal communities that may be normal to them, that they wouldn't typically be looking at or know or understand what that person's background is, and being able to be that connector to then see how that can perpetuate change, drive a solution, ease that person's challenge, increase this person's success. Like, hell yeah, I'm here for that.
That's why I asked you to be on the podcast. It's so interesting to hear the way you're talking about. You said it's operation add value. I want to add value. That's how you add value.
Yeah.
Your curiosity finds you the people. Your curiosity identifies the issue. And then your experience has you put them in a room together and continue with probative questions, curiosity, and using your sociology and psychology to put people in a good position. What are you most excited about going forward, Torrey?
What am I most excited about? Well, this just happened. So this is going to be a podcast exclusive. Together at the Top, you heard it here first, just like mine and Matt Kate. It wasn't just me and Matt Kate. We had a whole group, okay? It was a scramble group, going back to the 58 at Torrey Pines. But what I'm most looking forward to is I am bringing on another person, a key hire that I was very, very much wanted in the beginning of this journey 19 months ago. And I knew that it was not the right time to bring that person on. And now they're coming on in the next few months. And I won't give away too much. I mean, I already just kind of did, but I'm just really excited. It's going to be the next kind of big driver and push that we need as a company. And it just like re-excites me. Like, I feel like I just bought the business all over again, just talking with this person and telling them about the plans that we have in place and getting their ideas. And just, I am so excited. I was at dinner the other day with my husband, and shout out to him, who has been such a support. He's actually on his way right now to bring me a smoothie for lunch. But all of the support around me, I sometimes forget my biggest supporter.
Thank you, Spencer.
Is my husband. Yes, he's seen me on all the days. I think that looking ahead into the future, I used to be afraid in a way of just the unknown. And I wanted everything to be like laid out perfectly. But now I like not knowing. I like being able to determine my own destiny and my own fate, and all by just putting my head down and working hard and doing the right thing. And I think that this new person who's going to come in is going to help just take us to that next level, and also help me with all of those thoughts that run through my mind all the time of like, oh, we could do this, we could do that, we could do this. And just help level set me too of like, all right, this is the path that we're headed on. And I'm so excited. And I'm so excited for the rest of the team who has been great in our growth. And all of it is thanks to them. Like, we've started all of these things at the company to help show that appreciation to the growth of the company and giving back where it matters. I can't do this alone. I have so many people out there who have been so supportive to me, and I thank them from the bottom of my heart, truly. But also, like, my employees are in that category. I really see them as partners of what we do. And so I love them with my whole heart.
What would they say about you if we did a 360-degree review of you? What would your staff say about you?
They would say she's crazy. No, they would say that I would hope that they would say that I am kind. I wouldn't say that I am. I think we had this like whole debate about me being sweet one year. And it was a funny conversation. I was like, I don't think I'm sweet.
Yeah, no one said
I don't think
sweet.
I still don't think I'm sweet. Yeah, I don't think I'm sweet.
I'm a no on that one.
Yeah, thanks.
Respectfully,
me too. Actually, my first
submitted.
no, I'm not. I wouldn't say that I'm like a sweet person, but I would hope that they would say that I am kind and understanding as well. I really, really do want everybody to be successful. And I do mean that. And I don't want somebody to be in a position where they're struggling. They don't feel good at the end of the day. I like to have real conversations with people at work. Obviously, I'm not just who I am when I'm talking to a client or a source. I am who I am always. And so I am that same type of leader as well. So I hope that they would say that I've been kind to them, but I've also been they've also learned from me. I like to lead by example, and everything that I do, a lot of things that we've done have been new for this company. One of the things specifically that we are rolling out in the next few weeks, again, Together at the Top exclusive, just dropping these bombs on this podcast. Let's go. But we're doing this new docu-series for the corrections market. I wanted to make sure that we talked about that briefly. But it's really cool, and it helps to people to really go inside facilities and understand what's pushing the needle, because we talk about those things all the time in the correction space of, oh, this is, we're designing for better outcomes, or, positive results, or reducing recidivism. Like, what does that actually mean on the
right now? Yeah, prison space for those who don't know. Yeah, no, not at all.
Yeah. And so this whole project was going inside facilities and talking to staff members, but also talking to inmates, and really pulling that curtain back and seeing this is what is actually driving progress at this specific facility in this specific state, or as a department in general. But with all of that being said, whenever we do new things, if it's something that people are like, I have no idea where to start, like, sacrificial lamb over here. Like, I will be that, and I will lead the charge. And if we fail, we fail. And if we succeed together. And we can fine tune it from there. I'm not going to go out and get everything right every single time, but I am going to be fully committed to it, and work my ass off to get it done. And for the person on the other end to be satisfied with that. So with that video, that is what I do and how I lead. And so I hope that my team would say that they feel supported by me at the end of the day, and I would never leave them hanging out to dry ever.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
I hope that that's what they would say on this President's Day today.
It's really cool. And if you want to send a link, I don't know if it's ripe yet, but I'm sure some of the listeners would love to see what you're working on. That'd be great.
Yeah, I will for sure. Yeah, it's really cool, and we're gonna keep putting these out there and showing the just positive initiatives that are happening in public safety facilities and corrections throughout the country, and helping to break that stigma as well, and bring those people together who can help push that change and change lives. Like, that's the big thing about the corrections market that I've always loved, is that you can change a life. And what I've learned from doing this video that you'll see on the New York facilities is that it changes an inmate's entire generational family.
Yeah, and your timing couldn't be better. We can counterbalance some of the atrocities I'm watching on American streets by showing what actual, like, real live law enforcement professionals who care about the people under their charge can do, and some of the great things that are happening behind the walls that we don't see. So you putting voice and video to that is heartening, never more so than right now.
Yeah, it's super powerful, and I hope that people get something out of it, and that it helps them to see things differently.
Yeah. Torrey, you did an amazing job on this podcast. It's just been incredible to watch your career. At times I've been your coach, at times maybe a mentor. Mostly we're colleagues and contemporaries, but you're an emerging leader at the highest levels. I've had almost 4,000 business coaching sessions, and I've worked with dozens of organizations. I put you not near to the top. I put you at the top of emerging leaders, of evolving thinkers, and I'm honored that you came on the show. Is there anything I didn't ask you that I should have asked you, or anything you want to ask me before we sign off? Madam Journalist.
If it's another yes or no question, I can give you a little preview. My answer is yes. No, I think that we really covered the evolution. I think maybe some of the things that we talked about before in the previous podcast, of just, I went back and listened to it, and I could tell where I was stressed on certain answers. And that now I go, like, reflect back on it today. And it's, again, that mentality I have now where I'm like, it's not that wasn't that big of a deal. And it takes that reflection in order to do that. So I would say maybe just some advice for anybody who is deciding to be an entrepreneur, to change. Maybe it's not even to be a, CEO or president, but to change their role or just grow in being a person or a professional. I would say do know yourself before you make any big moves. That's so important, I would say. If I was not who I was 100% of the time, all the time, I would definitely be lost out there, because there's a lot of different avenues that you can go down and people who can lead you astray, and you have to be true to yourself and your mission and your purpose, and just know that before you dive head first, I would say.
I appreciate that. I felt like you were talking to me one-on-one, and all of a sudden I went, oh, we're on a podcast right now, because it's just great advice for me too. And I take it and I accept it and I appreciate it. Torrey, thank you for your time. Thank you also to Riley Byrne and our great producer and staff at Together at the Top at Podigy Podcast. We appreciate you so much. We'll see you next month on Together at the Top. Thanks, Torrey.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you so much for your time. Together at the Top thrives off listeners like you. To stay connected, follow our socials in the show notes and leave a review on Apple Podcasts. We'll be releasing our show on the last Tuesday of every month. See you next time. At Nick Warner Consulting, we exist to coach and consult motivated professionals. I meet with you on Zoom in focused 90-minute sessions, working toward your goals and developing next-level business skill sets. My job is to add value to your organization and your career. To learn more, visit www.nickwarnerconsulting.com or call me directly at 916-765-3576.